let's start with some of the details related to the age of Elizabeth. So age of Elizabeth, we all know that it started from 1550 and it extended or it finished in 1625. So precisely age of Elizabeth, the rule of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth ends in 1603. After that, King James ascended to the throne of England and he lived or he ruled up to 1625. So I have not segregated that two ages because King James reign or the Jacobean age, which was actually very small age, and we'll be looking at it while we are discussing details about age of Elizabeth. So let me quickly brush up for you that what all things we have already learned from starting from Anglo-Saxon period. We have seen Anglo-Norman period, and also after that we have age of Chaucer, then we have age of revival, then comes age of Elizabeth. So in this age, about this age, let me tell you, if you see the previous question papers, immense questions have asked from this particular age. This is very important age in terms of, in many terms, not only for literature but also in any other discipline. You could see that a tremendous kind of development and flourishing happened because of the socio-political as well as cultural aspects of this age. This age is considered as the glorious and golden age of English literature. Not only English literature, in the field of science, in the field of adventure, in the field of every other, politically also, England as a nation, it flourished and became prosperous. But in terms of literature, we'll be looking at the major literary group of this age, which is known as university wits, and we'll be looking at some of the main points related to Shakespeare. So about Shakespeare, Shakespearean theatre, Shakespeare's literary phases and his individual works and his sonnets and poetic treatise we'll be looking at individually in another videos. But in this video, let me tell you, we'll be looking at some of the important details related to Shakespeare, and we'll be looking at important characteristics and major literary trends of this age as well as major authors and their works. Now let's move on to the main content of the video. So age of Elizabeth, like I said, it is from 1550 to 1625, roughly from 1550 to 1625. So 1550 to 1603, we can see that it was Queen Elizabeth's reign, and after that King James ascended to the throne and he ruled up to 1625. Okay, Queen Elizabeth first ruled from 1558 to 1603. See, like I said, it was not in the year 1550 Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne. Okay, it was only in the year 1558. So please remember this year, because I have seen questions a couple of times in the previous question paper that asking about the year of Queen first ascent to the throne of England. So the year is 1558 and she ruled up to the year 1603. So she was the last Tudor monarch. Remember that too. She was the last Tudor monarch of England. And from 1603 to 1625, James first reigned England, which is known as Jacobean period of English literature. And Elizabethan age is the glorious and golden period in English history or English literature. We could see that age of Elizabeth is known as the glorious and golden period because literature was flourishing, flooding, and drama actually touched its height unlike any other age. And also as a nation, England was becoming, so people of England became so patriotic towards its towards their nation, and rise of nationalism nationalism was at its peak. England established or started to establish colonies all around the world, or non-European lands they visited. Then they became traders, and later they became conquerors, and they, the cash flow from all these colonies in the form of tax and many other forms made England a prosperous country. So slowly and slowly they were becoming very culturally as well as economically developed country in this age. We could see that. And in 1580, England defeated Spanish Armada. So, remember this event. In 1580, England defeated Spanish Armada, led to the decline of the Spanish Empire. So, this actually captured the establishment and flourishing of, the British Empire, and also kind of rise in the feeling of patriotism among people as well. And we could see advancements in science, especially in astrology and medicine, etc. So I have said that, not only in literature but also in every other discipline, especially in science, astrology, medicine, every various other fields also saw a very tremendous kind of growth during this age, because of the peacefulness that people experienced during this age. And England was also economically developing. That means people in some way they are actually developing too. So because of that, people really got a chance to think and experiment about things, and engage in many literary as well as kind of activities. So basically that socio-economic atmosphere or ambience of the age provided advancements in many areas like science, literature, medicine, astrology, etc. Now let's see some of the influential astronomers of this age. You have to remember Tycho Brahe and Johannes Kepler. I think Galileo Galilei. Please remember these three names. Tycho Brahe, he lived from 1546 to 1601. He was a Danish astronomer, and he invented most precise instrument available for the invention of telescope. He actually contributed his invention he invented a most precise, most clear and most instrument that can give a precise information in order to create or in order to invent a telescope. Okay, so that was his major kind of contribution. Then we have Johannes Kepler. He lived from 1571 to 1630. He was a German astronomer, and he is the one who first fully explained the motion of the planets of the solar system. So Johannes Kepler is the one who explained the motion of the planets in an accurate way for the first time, and the motion of planets of the solar system for the first time. He actually explained the motion of planets correctly. And he is the founder of celestial mechanics. So Johannes Kepler is the founder of celestial mechanics. The next one is Galileo Galilei. He is the most famous one. Galileo Galilei lived from 1564 to 1642. He is the father of modern science, or he is known as the father of modern science. His main contributions were in the field of physics, astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy. Okay, so he contributed many concepts and many inventions in the field of physics, astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy. He is the one who first used a telescope to study the celestial world. So many believe that he is the one who invented telescope, but that is not the case. He is the first one to use telescope to study the celestial world. Okay. So please remember these three astronomers or scientists, because in the field of astronomy we could see that a great growth happened during this age. Now let's see literature of the age, the characteristics of or some of the details related to the peculiar literature that we could find in this age. So drama was the dominant genre. So like I said, drama actually touched its peaks during this age. So before this, before this age, in the age of revival, we could see drama in the form of miracle, morality, or mystery cycle of plays. But slowly by slowly, we could also see that drama was assuming its secular form, as well as drama was enacted about social themes started to in the form of morality plays. But during this age, the age of Elizabeth, drama was the dominant genre, and drama fully became a social kind of literary genre, and also it assumed its most peculiar as well as a very secular form, in which you could have many other subgenres as well. And William Shakespeare was the major proponent. There were many, but we remember William Shakespeare in connection with the drama. And William Shakespeare, this age is also known as Age of Shakespeare, because even though even people, they don't know, if they don't know literature, anything about literature, English literature, they know Shakespeare. So that was he was that popular. So this age is also known as age of William Shakespeare, simply as a literary towering figure. He belongs to this age, and that's why it is also known as the age of Shakespeare. And now we could see the first English tragedy in this age. In the name of English first tragedy is Gorboduc. Gorboduc, or another name for Gorboduc, is the tragedy of Ferrex and Porrex. Please remember this. In many critical treatises, Gorboduc got a mention. Okay, many claim that Gorboduc is a true tragedy, first English true tragedy, which is actually following every other unities, and also in that way many gives high acclaim for Gorboduc. Okay, Gorboduc, or the tragedy of Ferrex and Porrex. So this was an earliest play in blank verse. Okay, who introduced blank verse? Earl of Surrey introduced blank verse, and so Earl of Surrey belongs to Age of Revival. So the literary persons, or the dramatists or poets who came after Age of Revival, or came after Earl of Surrey, used blank verse in order to compose their plays. And this work, Gorboduc, was written by Thomas Norton and Thomas Sackville, and they followed the model of Senecan model of tragedy. Seneca is another great tragedian who has written many number of tragedies. His especially revenge tragedies he has written. So revenge tragedies, mainly English authors followed Senecan model of revenge tragedy, that we will see later. So these people, Thomas Norton and Thomas Sackville, also followed Senecan model of tragedy. And along with the first tragedy in English, we could also see first English comedy too in this age, which is named as Ralph Roister Doister, which was composed during this year, between these years 1551 to 1553. Nicholas Udall is considered as the playwright of this particular first English comedy. Ralph Roister Doister. Remember this name. This is very playful and happy. Seems to be a very happy and playful title. Ralph Roister Doister. So we could see influence of classical playwrights Plutus and Terence while he was composing this particular comedy. Udall got influenced by playwrights like Plutus and Terence. They are classical writers, just like tragedy followed the Senecan model. These two playwrights influenced the composition of Ralph Roister Doister. So you have to remember, in drama, first comedy was Ralph Roister Doister, and first tragedy was first tragedy is Gorboduc. Now let's see, another literary trend of the age was Elizabethan lyric. So lyric, they are mainly short poems about personal romantic topics, or poems set to the tune of a musical instrument. So lyre was the instrument. So accompanying that instrument, that musical instrument, when you sing personal romantic short poems, that is known as lyric. It will only consider a concentrated feeling. There won't be any discussion of much feelings, diverse kinds of feelings won't be discussed, but personal romantic, a concentrated emotion will be there, and it is a set of a poem set to the tune of a musical instrument. And Elizabethan lyric was influenced by Italian poets. So Elizabethan lyric was influenced by Italian poets. Now we have Elizabethan sonnet. Sonnet form was introduced by Thomas Wyatt and Earl of Surrey. We know that. They also gave metrical rhyme scheme for Elizabethan sonnet or English sonnet. And Elizabethan sonnet or sonnet as such, we know that it is a 14-lined poem in iambic pentameter. Okay, sonnets are 14-lined poems in iambic pentameter. So this is also known as Elizabethan sonnets. That form is also known as Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet. English sonnet, unlike Petrarchan sonnet, we have 3 quatrains and a couplet. If you remember, Petrarchan sonnet contained like an octave and a sestet. But in English sonnet, we have the 3 quatrains. Quatrains means 4-lined stanza. 4-lined stanza is known as a quatrain. So like that, we have 3 quatrains and there is a concluding couplet too in Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet. The rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. So you remember this rhyme scheme because it can be when you see too much rhyme schemes in the option, often you can get confused. It won't be very easy for you to derive at the correct rhyme scheme of English sonnet. So remember this: A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. Okay, so we have seen first English tragedy, first English comedy, then Elizabethan lyric and Elizabethan sonnet. So these were the major kind of literary trends happening. And drama of course in every other form: revenge tragedy, comedy, tragedy, and Shakespeare has written many tragic comedies. So many other forms of drama also we could see. Now let's see some of the main poets of this age. Edmund Spenser. So first name comes here is Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser lived from 1552 to 1599. So his major works are, the first one is The Shepherd's Calendar. Remember this, The Shepherd's Calendar. Immediately after hearing this title, you have to remember Edmund Spenser. You have to remember that, okay? The Shepherd's Calendar came out in the year 1579. It is dedicated to Philip Sidney. Remember that too. Okay, Philip Sidney is another major poet of this age. And Shepherd's Calendar is dedicated to Philip Sidney, and he imitated Virgil while he was composing the Shepherd's Calendar. Who? Edmund Spenser. So Edmund Spenser imitated Virgil. His style of composing a poetry he imitated in the Shepherd's Calendar. We could see that a series of 12 eclogues representing each month. So, this particular work, the Shepherd's Calendar, contains a series of 12 eclogues. Actually, these 12 eclogues is kind of poetry, okay? So, these 12 eclogues represents actually each month in a year. Next work is The Fairy Queen. The Fairy Queen, about Fairy Queen and all, we will be doing yet another video. So don't worry about the details related to it. The Fairy Queen. Fairy Queen is an epic work which actually he composed this particular work between 1590 and 1596. Then we have Amorati. Amorati is actually a sonnet sequence. We could find sonnet sequence in here. Amorati came out in the year 1594. And Epithalamion is a wonderful poem about the marriage of the daughter of his patron. So Epithalamion, the year of composition is 1595, and Prothalamion, the composition year is 1596. So for about Epithalamion and Prothalamion, we will be doing another video. So every other important works will be separately looking at, and will be having an individual kind of video for that work. So now we are just going through the main details of a particular age. I'm not looking in detail about the individual works in here. Okay, just remember that. And the next important point of the age is Philip Sidney. Philip Sidney, see, like I said, the shepherd's calendar was dedicated to Philip Sidney. Remember that. And Philip Sidney lived from 1554 to 1586. See, his lifespan is from 1554 to 1586, and he has published a work known as Arcadia, or he has written a work known as Arcadia. The full title of the work is The Countess of Pembroke's Arcadia. Okay, Arcadia, it is popular. This work, this sonnet sequence is particularly known as, or famously known as, Arcadia only, but the full title of the work is The Countess of Pembroke's Arcadia, which was composed in the year 1590. And another work by Sidney is Astrophil and Stella. Sorry, Astrophil and Stella came out in the year 1591, and it is dedicated to Penelope Devereux. Okay, Penelope Devereux, remember that. And it's a sonnet sequence again. And he also has written a critical treatise about, in order to show the importance of poetry and revive the importance of poetry, he has written a critical work known as An Apology for Poetry or A Defense of Poesy, which came out in the year 1595. Please remember this: An Apology for Poetry, A Defense of Poesy, published in the year 1595. So remember, if you could not remember the year in which all this work got published, please remember at least the titles and the author of that works as well. So the major poets of this age were Edmund Spenser and Philip Sidney. And we also have Shakespeare has written many sonnet composition, but when we discuss Shakespeare, we will look upon it. Now let's see the major group of this particular literary age, which is known as university wits. University wits is also known as, that group is also known as pre-Shakespearean dramatist or pre-Shakespearean drama. So basically, all the dramatists included in this particular group, they studied in either of the universities, either in Cambridge or in Oxford. They have done their education, so that's how when they came together, they popularly known as university wits. They were basically pre-Shakespearean dramatists. Okay, they educated at universities of Oxford or Cambridge. So main features of their works were fascination towards heroic themes. So it was not only that they educated, only that criteria, not only that criteria formed them as a group, but they had several common features in their drama as well. First one is the fascination towards heroic themes. So in their works, we could see a fascination, an inclination towards heroic themes, and style and treatment are also heroic. So they treated the themes, the style, the everything in their work, including the composition style. Everything they have done in a heroic manner, like heroic themes and style, and in treatment also everything was heroic. And the theme were tragic in nature. Mainly they have written tragedies, not comedies. So you have to remember these fascinating features or features related to university wits. Not only they have educated in either of the universities, but they had several features in common in their drama as well, that formed them together as a group. Now let's see who all are the major university wits: John Lilly, George Peele, Robert Greene, Thomas Lodge, Thomas Nash, Thomas Kidd. Thomas Kidd has published or have written the Spanish tragedy. Then Christopher Marlowe has written Dr. Faustus. So remember, Christopher Marlowe has written many other works as well. So the most popular one is, and most popular one that most of us have learned is Dr. Foster's. So remember these names. And the question often I have seen that asking about who is not a university with from among the pick out those who are not those who is not a not a university with from the given group of dramatists. So such question you have to pick the university with, or you have to segregate who is not a university with. So for either case you have to know who all are the university wits. So please learn the names: John Lilly, George Peel, Robert Greene, Thomas Lodge, Thomas Nash, Thomas Kidd. See, you learn these three Thomas together: Thomas Lodge, Thomas Nash, Thomas Kidd. Then learn together George Peel, Robert Greene, then John Lilly and Christopher Marlowe. Okay, in that way you yourself create a code and try to learn. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to learn, because from this age onwards you will have many number of groups, clubs and all. So people included in all those groups and movements and clubs, it will be, if you start to just mug up all those things, it will be very difficult for you. So don't mug up things just like that, but understand and find a code to learn all these things. Then it will be very memorable for you. I mean, easy to memorize. Now let's see in particular about William Shakespeare. Okay, so William Shakespeare is known as the Bard of Avon, and William Shakespeare lived from 1564 to 1616, and his literary career began around 1592. Okay, his literary career began around the year 1592, and his career is divided into four periods. Okay, there are four periods in his career. First one is for first literary period. So the first phase is from 1585 to 1594. Okay, so the first literary period of William Shakespeare's career is from 1585 to 1594, and in this first phase or first period he has written 28 sonnets and 7 plays of youthful love and imagination. So mainly the plays were comedies, and it actually discussed a youthful love, or we could find youth themes like youthful love and imagination. He has written 26 sonnets in this first period, and 7 plays. They were, most of them were comedies, and they discussed or they portrayed youthful love and imagination. In the second literary period, which extends from 1594 to 1600, so the second literary period starts from 1594 and it ends in 1600. He produced chronicle and history plays and joyous comedies as well. So he has written many historical, chronicle based plays. So that kind of plays mostly he has written in this second literary period, and also some joyous comedies as well. In the third literary period, we could see that it is from 1601 to 1608. He wrote most of his tragedies and comedies with a tragic tone in this during this age, and this age actually so many personal tragedies in his life as well. So maybe in that, in some or other way, this personal tragedies that he experienced also also influenced his compositions, and he has written many tragedies and comedies with a tragic tone during this third literary period, which is from 1601 to 1608. The fourth period of William Shakespeare's career is from 1608 to 1613. He wrote plays characterized by a grave cynicism and resignation. We could see tragic comedies mostly in this age, in this period of his career. He wrote plays characterized by grave cynicism. We could see, cynistic kind of tone and serious kind of things, and also resignation, a kind of hopelessness, such kind of things we could see during this fourth period of his literary career, from which is from 1608 to 1613. So remember these four periods and roughly remember this period of these literary periods as well in terms of years. Now let's see chronological order Shakespeare plays. It is not, that you could not remember this. Nobody could remember this easily, all the correct order, the chronological order of Shakespeare plays, but this is important that at least you know which comes first and which comes second, at least the important works, because questions can be asked to arrange the following Shakespearean plays in chronological order. This is a question, at least in a question paper you can see 4 or 5 such questions, so that's how I have included this. I'm not going to read each one of it because this will be very a boring affair for you to hear it, but you can pause the video and you can take down this, the chronological order of Shakespearean plays. But I have also mentioned the year of composition and also the genre in which this particular work is included. So please remember that his first major work was the Two Gentlemen of Verona, then we have the Taming of Shrew, then we have some historical works, and after that we have the Comedy of Errors, then Love's Labor Lost, then Romeo and Juliet comes before a Midsummer Night's Dream. So remember that. And also we have the Merchant of Venice comes after A Midsummer Night's Dream, then The Merry Wives of Windsor, then you see Julius Caesar. After that we have As You Like It, then we have Hamlet, then we have Twelfth Night. See, Julius Caesar is a Roman tragedy and Hamlet is a tragedy, it's a revenge tragedy. As You Like It is a comedy. Okay, Twelfth Night is also a comedy. Troilus Crusade is a problem play, and Othello, King Lear, they are together and they are both are tragedies. And Measure for Measure is a tragic comedy. It's a problem play. Then we have Macbeth. Before Macbeth, we have seen that two major other tragedies like King Lear and Othello come. Then after Macbeth, we have Antony and Cleopatra, and we have Coriolanus. Coriolanus is a Roman play; it's a tragedy. Then The Minstrel is a tragic comedy. Okay, Cymbeline is also a tragic comedy. Tempest is a tragic comedy. Then Cardenio and Henry the Eighth and or All is True. These two he has written in company with Fletcher, Phineas Fletcher. So The Tempest is his last individual work. Okay, The Tempest. Remember that. So Shakespeare's plays are divided into comedy, tragedy, historical plays, Roman plays, and problem plays. So there were many divisions for his plays. The most common one are comedy, tragedy, historical plays, Roman plays, and problem plays. So you can pause the video and you can write it down in a chronological order. You can write it down. I'm not asking you to study the chronological order, but at least understand the important words where it comes. Okay, so read it several times, then you will understand. You will have a memory about which comes after which. Okay. Now let's see some details about Shakespeare's poems. So Shakespeare has written many poems, and these two are poetic treatises. First one is Venus and Adonis. Venus and Adonis, published in the year 1593, or it came out in the year 1593, and we can see another one is Rape of Lucrece. The Rape of Lucrece, he has composed it in 1594, and he is famous. Shakespeare's sonnets are very famous, and he followed the English sonnet rhyme scheme, and he has written in iambic pentameter, and his sonnets together published in the year 1594, and sum total he has written 154 sonnets. Okay, Shakespeare has written sum total he has written 154 sonnets, and among them first 126, among that sonnets first 126, that means sonnet 1 to sonnet 126, he addressed these sonnets to a person known as Mr. W.H. Mr. W.H. And clearly who is this Mr. W.H. is unknown, but there were many and there are many speculations that we will look upon it when we particularly discuss about Shakespeare's sonnets. Now only you know that, you understand that first 126 sonnets are addressed to a person known as Mr. W.H., referred as Mr. W.H. And the other the other sonnets from 127 to 154, it deals with a dark lady, or it is addressed, or it tells, or it deals, or it represents dark lady, or it deals with the dark lady, or it is addressed to a woman who is addressed as or represented as a dark lady. Okay, remember this division as well. Now let's see other writers. There were other writers in this age, especially these other writers belongs to Ben Jonson and all belongs to age of Jacobean or Jacobean age. Okay, that is from 1603 to 1625. Now let's see some other dramatists. Thomas Heywood. Thomas Heywood, he lived from 1570 to 1641, and we have Ben Jonson. About Ben Jonson, we will have individual videos. So about all these important works, we will have individual works. Individual videos as well. So in here, I am just mentioning some of his important works only. But in that, the coming up videos about Ben Jonson, we will be looking at him in detail. Ben Jonson lived from 1572 to 1637, and his major works are Every Man in His Humour, came out in or staged in the year 1598. Every Man Out of Humour, staged in the year 1599, and he also has produced the Poetester, produced in the sense has written the Poetester in the year 1601, and Volpone in the year 1606, and The Alchemist in the year 1610. So he had a very peculiar kind of writing that we'll see. He was unlike any other writers or unlike any other dramatist of the age, and many believe that Ben Jonson is more talented than Shakespeare. Many writers claimed that Ben Jonson is a true representative of the age, as well as Ben Jonson is more talented and literary wise, or from the point of view of individuality of works and the talent of composing a new theme and individual themes. In that terms, Ben Jonson is more talented and literally capable than Shakespeare. Many believe that, but still Shakespeare is Shakespeare. Shakespeare actually towers the age, but Ben Jonson is not too low, but he's just second only Shakespeare. He was such a great writer. Now, after Ben Jonson, we have Thomas Middleton. Thomas Middleton lived from 1518 to 1627. Women Beware Women and A Game of Chess. See, these two works, it has a reference in Wasteland. Okay, remember that. Women Beware Women. A Game of Chess. These two works of Thomas Middleton got a reference or allusion in where? In Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. It's a modern epic. So about Wasteland, we'll be having another video in which we will discuss in detail about these mentioning of these works. Another dramatist we have here is John Webster. John Webster lived from 1578 to 1624, and his Duchess of Malfi, we all have learned it as a revenge tragedy. The Duchess of Malfi, staged in the year 1613. The Duchess of Malfi. Now the age also got some essayists. So the most important person here is Francis Bacon. We all know. And he's very famous for his style of composition. Francis Bacon lived from 1561 to 1626, and he has written essays. Essays is a title of one of his work, I mean composition, compilation of his essays. It is titled as Essays. Essays came out in the year 1597, and his advancement of learning in the year 1605, Novum Organum in the year 1620, the history of winds in the year 1622, the new Atlantis. It's a kind of, just like Thomas More was talking about utopia, he is also talking about a new kind of land, an ideal kind of land in the new Atlantis, published in the year 1626. Please remember at least the names of his major works. Now let's see some of his major most popular quotations. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. This is from Off Reading. His essay Off Reading. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. This quotation is from Of Marriage. Okay. His essay known as Of Marriage. This quotation is from that particular essay. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. Then knowledge is power. This again is a commonly used quotation in many occasions, but this is originally by Francis Bacon. Knowledge is power is originally from Francis Bacon. So that's all about this particular age of Elizabeth or age of Shakespeare. So we have seen literary trends of this age as no internal turbulence and in the form of war and rebellions. We could not see much, but do remember the defeat of Spanish Armada, and remember the year in which Elizabethan or Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne of England, 1558, and her reign ends in 1603, and from there up to 1625 it was Jacobean age because King James I was ruling over England. And remember the university weights and their major works as well as Shakespeare. Try to remember the chronology of major works at least, and other dramatists like Ben Jonson and or Haywood, Ben Jonson, Middleton. We have Francis Bacon as the major essayist or prose writer of this age. So do remember all these important details about age of Elizabeth and learn them in connection with some peculiarities related to this age as well. Okay, if you have any queries, any doubts, any suggestions, you can obviously comment that in this comment section. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon too, so that you get a notification when I upload a video. And also, if you like the video, you can also share this with other needy friends of yours, and also press the like button too, so that I may get encouraged to create such contents further. If you want me to make any further topics for you, you can also comment that in the comment section. If you want more and more materials to study UGC NET comprehensive materials, simple materials, then you can visit my website known as www.highpoint.in, or you can WhatsApp to the number that I have given. So that's all. Let me meet you in the next video. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.